What's up, Jet Nation? This is GreenBean hanging out on a dock in Lake George, right here in the Adirondacks of New York State. And I'm having a beautiful day, except for the news that just slid down the pike via Ian Rappaport. We're going to talk about Marcus Maye and the dissolving contract negotiations when I come back. All right, Jet Nation, again, this is GreenBean hanging out in the Adirondack Mountains. Spent the day at Lake George, and we'll be leaving this gorgeous area in just a little while. Heading over to Niagara, I think. Maybe somewhere along those lines. We're just beating up the entire Northeast, having a good time. And then we're heading west, man. Heading west again. While I've been in this area of the country, things have been going swimmingly for the New York Jets. We've had a lot of positive reports from Zach Wilson to OTAs to Robert Saleh to Flight 2021. All sorts of good stuff. Elijah Moore lighting it up, even Berrios, all kinds of positive stuff. And then we get this. So one of the things that a lot of Jets fans have been hoping would take place was that the Jets would figure out a way to lock up Marcus Maye, one of the few players that kind of has done well by us over the past few years. We had Jamison Crowder. He was another one that looked like the Jets would just maybe let slide away. But they were able to figure out a negotiated contract with him where he took less money just for the right to have it guaranteed. So he was going to make a little over $10 million. And the negotiated contract has him a little bit below $5 million. So they were able to take 50% of his contract off. And it looks like Marcus Maye and his agent have very little interest in doing something similar. So the word on the street is this. The Jets came out after the draft. Joe Douglas, namely, said that Marcus Maye was a priority to get done now that all the draft prep and the draft picks and everything are behind us. Marcus Maye is our number one priority. So we all got psyched about that. It was like, okay, great. We're going to take care of one of our own. We haven't done that yet in the Joe Douglas era. By a lot of people's accounts, it is one of the sore spots as far as the Joe Douglas regime has gone. I mean, lots of positive things, lots of good choices. But one of the things he has yet to do is to lock up anyone that has been on the Jets for more than a few minutes. He obviously re-signed Ryan Griffin in 2019, and we signed a couple guys for one-year contracts. But other than that, we haven't taken care of anybody in the organization. So the concern is that it's a bad look, right? It's a bad look for the New York Jets that they don't take care of their own. We're happy to give Carl Lawson or Corey Davis larger contracts, but we haven't given anyone who was here a larger contract. So Marcus Maye and Jamison Crowder being two guys that throughout all the baloney, all the bad times, they really showed up. They played. They were two bright spots on a largely disappointing roster and two disappointing seasons. So we wanted to see them taken care of. Now, Crowder obviously is, unless he blows up the earth this year and has like a Pro Bowl career year, he's looking like this is going to be his last year. The Jets said, hey, basically, your money's not guaranteed. We have a lot of receivers in the house now. We'd like to keep you, but not at that price. And he agreed. Now he's got it. He's got it guaranteed and everything, but he's more than likely going to be gone after this year. Now, Marcus Maye is someone who a lot of Jets fans, he's one of our favorite players. You know, we had this dynamic safety duo of Jamal Adams and Marcus Maye. A lot of people argued they were the best tandem in the league and all that. We get rid of Jamal Adams after a sour contract dispute and a whole bunch of other baloney. And Marcus Maye remained and played well. So when Joe Douglas came out and said, hey, I'm going to take care of this, we're going to We're going to make him a priority. It was music to our ears. Now, that was almost 2 months ago now. So obviously things have stalled. But then just yesterday, Ian Rappaport comes out with a report that says the Jets' offer was 20% below the franchise tag. So what that means is that we're looking at about $8 million. The Jets offered him a few years, multiple years, for $8 million a year and whatever guarantees and such. So Eric Burkhart comes out, that's Marcus Maye's agent, and says that they had offers before the Jets franchise tagged him from other clubs that were significantly more guaranteed and significantly more per year, average per year. So when they franchise tagged him, they weren't necessarily happy because they could have gotten a long-term contract elsewhere, but that would be fine if the Jets just gave him a long-term contract. So when they offered $8 million, that's when things went south. He ended up signing the franchise tag because of NFL rules, and now here we stand. Ian Rappaport reports that the offer that Marcus Maye's camp sent to the Jets has not been answered. So that's an interesting piece. Has not been answered, and the offer has since been taken off of the table. So this is where it gets weird for me. Now, is it real that Joe Douglas doesn't even answer the agents? Because that would be a negative. Okay, can anybody argue that? We have to at least tell them no. But let's say that that's true for a second. Let's say that the Jets didn't even offer or didn't even respond to the offer. What would that mean? It means, hey, we offered you $18 million. You came back with 15 or something that's much, much higher than what we're going to do. So we're not even entertaining that. We're not going to play this game with you. And you know it already. You know what our ceiling is. If you're not going to do that, don't play games. Now, that's not defending Joe Douglas and the organization in any respect, but that's the only thing that I could come up with that would be a reason why they didn't respond, especially after making that comment that he was a priority. Look, Marcus Maye is a good football player, okay? He was one of the better football players on our team, but that doesn't mean that the Jets are going to break the bank for him. It doesn't look like Joe Douglas has any interest in breaking the bank for anybody. So it's one of those situations where we as fans are kind of stuck in the middle, and it's like, hey, we really like this guy. We'd love to see him retained. We'd like to see any of our own players retained. But it's just not happening. It doesn't matter that the feelings of the fans are one way. Joe Douglas has a budget. Now, I'd like to believe that he did respond. You know, Marcus Maye's agent has been known to go on Twitter before and kind of throw people under the bus. He had the whole thing with Charlie Casserly during the Kyler Murray contract situation, you know, before he was taken number one in the draft that year. So, and he's come out against the Jets before the franchise tag, saying that the Jets disrespected him and all kinds of stuff. So the guy is not necessarily, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, that's not the most professional way to do things. It doesn't seem like, just not the way I think it should be done. You don't air your dirty laundry. You don't let people know what's going on with contract negotiations. And Eric Burkhart seems to be one of these guys that throws that to the wind. And in all honesty, maybe that's what rubs Joe Douglas wrong. He just doesn't want to deal with guys like that. I don't know. But any way you slice it, it's a negative, man. Let's do both sides. So it's the negative because we all want Marcus Maye to stay. You got to keep good players at some point. He's a good football player, okay? And then there's the piece with the team is seeing that this was a consummate team guy. He's a leader in the locker room, and we're not taking care of him, so that could rub players the wrong way. So those are potential negatives. The other side is this. It could also be sending a different message. One, we're not going to get pushed around by anybody. We don't care how well you played. We have a budget for certain positions, and we're not going to get caught in some weird salary cap hell because we emotionally overpaid somebody for their position. Don't forget, the Jets have LaMarcus Joyner. We drafted Ashton Davis last year in 2020. And we have 11 picks coming up in this year's draft. So we could very easily use one of our firsts, one of our 2 seconds, our third on a safety and not have to pay all this money. So as much as all those positives could come from signing him, if it puts you in a situation where you're setting a precedent, where you're setting a precedent that you can be pushed around and overpay, it's never going to stop. All right. So Eric Burkhardt is out there saying that he will never believe anything the Jets say about players being priorities and all this kind of stuff. In my opinion, that's not the way to do things, but it is what it is. He's not the first agent to bring it to the press. And that's more than likely the source, okay? When Ian Rappaport says a source, he's more than likely talking about Eric Burkhardt because he's been known to go out there, flapping his gums before. So that's more than likely the source. So again, I want to make sure that we understand that we're only listening to one side of the story. We don't know what the other side is. So I'd like to keep that in mind when we think about this stuff. You're only hearing the one side. 90% chance that Ian Rappaport's source is Eric Burkhardt. So what do you guys think? Do you want to overpay a 29-year-old safety? Do you think that Joe Douglas should make a statement here and just hold his line? Or should he make a statement and take care of this guy at all costs to try to set a precedent? I don't know. I go back and forth on it. I do like the fact that he's not getting pushed around no matter how you slice it. I don't like that he came out and said, hey, Marcus Maye is a priority, and then it just fell flat on its face. I don't like that. But, so what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you think, how this would go. What do you think's really going on? Do you think the source is Eric Burkhardt? Let me know in the comments. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on the situation, and let's watch how this develops. We have 48 hours to see how it goes, or so, 24 hours maybe. We'll see how it goes. But thanks for watching, everybody. And as always, go Jets.